Hello students, Chimichanga here. So today we're going to collect some mosses, but before we go out in the field we have to make these little packets. There's different sizes, so the size that you would make for a lot of moss, if you're going to make, big mosses, need big packets, is you take an 8.5 by 11, fold it into roughly a third, then an 1.5 inches to the side here, 1.5 inches to the side here, and then you fold the flap over. Oh man, it's like, okay, something like that. Do it a lot of times and it's all set. What you don't want to do, a lot of people do this, they fold it over here, they fold it over there, they go like this, put their mosses in, and the mosses fall out. Stupid. We want to do it smart. Fold the bottom up, sides over, top over. Okay, lots of time you don't need moss packets this big. This is for big moss. We have small mosses in California, so you can do half a size. And the nice thing about this is then after it's all done, you can go in a big packet like that. And so you take half a piece of paper, fold it over a little more than a third, then fold it over like that, about 3/4 of an inch. Fold this one over, another about 3/4 of an inch. Fold it over like that, and that's enough for a little moss. Now, when we get out in the field, we'll write stuff on it. Oh yeah, the other thing is, that's for mosses that are basically close to dry already. If you're collecting mosses out of a stream, it's like sopping wet. You grab your moss, you squeeze it. Oh, all the water drips out, it's still wet. And so then you have to put it in something that's a little sturdier than just photocopy paper. And we use these Write in the Rain packets. And this is, you can buy this at REI. It's like a plasticized paper called Write in the Rain. I think you can also buy it by ordering it online from the company that's large and whose name will not be mentioned. Okay, so now we put these things all together, and here we need some writing utensils. Good to have some pencils, pens, and then I always have these handy dandy little knives that are a little bit flexible. It's good. You can just, like scrape the mosses off of the rock or something with that. Sometimes I have some of these little salsa containers. This is really for collecting things that are a little bit more three-dimensional. Very rarely you need to do that. It's good to have caps for them too. Okay, so that's all I have to say about that, and we're going to go outside and do it in the field. Okay, here we are. Here we are out in the field, sort of, and there's bryophytes down here. There's also some vascular plants here. And let's say that you'd already taken a photo of this moss. You've been lying on the ground getting all dirty and everything, and you've taken your photo. And now you have to collect it so that we can identify it, because the photo is not always showing all the characters that you need in order to identify it. So this is not too wet. That's fine. We can use a regular packet that's made of regular paper like this, and then you try to find a place that's pure. It's like not got too many different things in it, and a little bit like that. That's kind of the bare minimum that you would need. So we'll take that and stick it in the packet. And now we have the packet, has nothing on it. What you really should do here is have a sequence of numbers on it. So, like I started my numbers a long time ago, and so I'm like at 54,000 and something, and so it would say 54,001, 54,002, and so on. Today I'm going to get organized after I get home, and so instead of that I'm just going to put an A on it, and we'll do A, B, C, D, because it's just one site. If you had multiple sites you'd have to get more complicated, and then as soon as I get home I'll fix it. Alright, now then what we do is write on here 4 things about the microhabitat. So the first thing to think about is the substrate, and this substrate I would say is decomposed granite. So I'll just write decomposed granite on it. And then the next thing to do is think about the incline, you know, like the incline of the soil when we collected it, and that was nearly flat. You could put the degrees down, like if you want to put 5-degree incline, that would probably be all right. So I'll just put 5-degree incline. Okay, then the next thing you have to do is shadiness, and it's not the shadiness at the moment that you're gathering it. You have to think about how much sun would this spot get during the spring equinox as the path of the sun traveled throughout the sky. So it'd start over there, go over and over and over, and we'd say, oh, this is going to be full sun. So we'd write full sun on there, and we do different levels. So it's full sun, 1/4 shade, 1/2 shade, 3/4 shade, and full shade. And then you have to do wetness or drainage or how fast it dries out. And this is the tricky one. So you're trying to imagine that after a rain, how fast does it dry out? If it dries out within the course of a few days, then you put wetness of 1. And if it dries out over the course of a couple of weeks, you'd put wetness of 2. If it's over the course of a month or more, you know, more than a couple of weeks, then it was wetness 3. If for most of the wet season it's in water, like it's growing in a seepage or something like that, that would be a wetness 4. And if it's for the whole wet season underwater, that's a wetness of 5. So we probably should have done it from 0 to 4, but we did it from 1 to 5. And so this one I would say is a wetness of 2. So I'll just put W2 on it. Okay, so that's for the microhabitat. Then you also need the mesohabitat, and you need the location. And so for each site that's, say, the size of a basketball court or something like that, or maybe a football field, then you want to get the latitude and longitude. And probably your phone has it. You can just sort of tilt it around and figure out what the latitude and longitude is, or if you have a nice GPS device, that's even better. And then you convert that to decimal degrees. So it'll be decimal degrees, and it'll be latitude and longitude, it's something like 34 degrees, 0.9765, let's say. And then it'll be negative 118 degrees, 1, 2, 3, 4. That would be a typical latitude and longitude. You should also write a little bit about the location. I do all of that, you know, just for one place, and then gather up maybe all the mosses that are at that place, and then go home and try to organize it there. We're back at the computer, and we have to convert our degrees, minutes, and seconds to decimal degrees. So I've got a website up here that does this. I'm sure you can find such a thing, and it's going to be 34 degrees, and then 14 minutes, and 27 seconds. And over here we do minus 118 degrees, and 31 minutes, and 41 seconds. And then press that, and voila, we've got it. So now we can take these numbers and we can put them into the spreadsheet. So up here I've got the spreadsheet, and the first row there talks about what we're supposed to put in, and then these are examples. So I'll just sort of scroll down here to beyond the examples, and here's a new thing. We can put the field identification in there. So we thought it was Tortula in the field, and I don't know what the authorities are. Infra-specific rank, I don't know anything about that. So we just keep on going. Determined, determiner date, determiner's notes. Country, USA. Yay! California, just put CA in there. And then the county is Los Angeles. And so there's more people here every day. Locality, it's California State University, Northridge, north side of, not sides, side of Sequoia Hall. And then latitude, we'll put in that decimal degree business. So 34.2408. That's good enough. And then negative 118.528. I guess I'll call it 1 all round, right? 1. Oh, what happened to the decimal point? There. Elevation. Yeah, the elevation we have to do GPS visualizer. And then if we put in there 34.2409, comma, negative 118.5281, click on that, then it gives us the elevation. So I'll go for about 881 feet. 881 feet. All right. Don't worry about any of that stuff. Mesohabitat. This is like suburban landscape without sprinklers. And don't worry about that. Don't care anything about that. Microhabitat, though, that's important. So in the field, we wrote on the packet some stuff, and we can copy it over here. So it is on decomposed granite. I'll put soil, just in case people don't know what that means. And then 5 degree incline, full sun, wetness 2 out of 5. Oh, that's probably good enough. And phase, cultivation, not really cultivated, even though it's a cultivated spot, but it's a volunteer. Sex, we don't know anything about that. Comments. Main collector is me. Well, maybe I'll spell it all out. It's kind of helpful to have unique names. Like Paul Wilson's not a unique name. And then the collection number for this one is 5441. And then other collectors, that's like other people. We're not going to worry about that right here. And then the date will go for the 17th of February, 2019. All this other stuff, to the extent that it needs to be filled in, will be filled in after we look at the specimen. The important stuff I put in already. Like we can always change the name, but we can't really change the location. And that's it. That's all I have to say about that.